What's up, everyone? This is Matthew Dale here with another lesson to help you play better, sound great, and understand more. And we're going to really kind of take a look at the play better side of things today. I wanted to do a video on tapping, and in particular, ways to approach tapping and to really work on your tapping technique. So this is really good for the beginner tapper, maybe the intermediate as well. Now, tapping, as we all know it, is this technique here. So I'm using my right hand to tap additional notes on the fretboard along with the left hand as well. Pretty self-explanatory, but one thing that I see a lot of my beginner students do when they try to attempt to tap is they're using more of their eyes than their ears or their brains, and they really don't have a very firm grasp on what to do with their right hand. So they might do something like, this very dramatic sort of flicking or almost looks like a tickling type motion. You don't want to tickle the guitar. It will not laugh back. So let's break this down into really what we should be thinking about technique-wise when we're looking at tapping. So tapping is really using our right hand to either hammer on or pull off a note. So if we just take a look at how we typically do this on our left hand, I'm also using this hand to just sort of mute the strings out. That's also a good thing to take note of. That's why you see a lot of those scrunchies or those, felt wraps or something that go up, near the headstock of the guitar. I know mine doesn't have one, but, that's what those are there for, to mute the strings so that stuff like tapping really comes out cleaner. But I'm going to use my hand for that sort of thing. And that is just a hammer on and a pull off. So a lot of velocity going into the guitar from my pinky, but then on the pull-off, as we probably all know, it's not just a lift, it's a kind of lift and flick out, so that you get a very even, consistent tone across all of those notes. Well, it's going to be the same way with our right hand, with our tapping fingers. So tap, and I'm just going to do this with one note held down consistently down here, just so we can kind of hear what the right hand is doing. So tap, hammer on, and then, again, I'm kind of flicking down to get that note to ring out. So hammer on, a lot of velocity, flick away. Hammer on, flick away. And yeah, a little bit of gain definitely helps, or a little bit of compression definitely helps with this technique to keep those notes even. But this is also something good to practice clean, but I'm not going to do that here today. Because let's be honest, more gain equals more fun. Now let's add in another finger on our left hand. So I'm going to tap the venerable minor triad. That's, kind of what we all know and love when we start approaching tapping. So I am tapping a B minor triad. I've got the B note held down on my first finger on the E string on the 7th fret, and then the pinky is getting the 10th fret on the E string. That's a D note, and then our F sharp note is going to be the one that I'm tapping all the way up on the 14th fret. Now, don't just stop there. Even though we're only doing 3 notes in a very simple chord, you can also alter this to, instead of a minor triad, a major triad. What about a sus2 triad? What about a sus4 triad? What about adding another note, maybe like a B minor 7? Or maybe something like a minor add 9. Now, there's a lot of creativity you can have there, and if you want to know more about chord construction, then that's a really good idea to go down in the description box and download my Essential Music Theory cheat sheet. There's a very detailed explanation on how chord construction works, as well as a number of different examples for very interesting chords. So head down to the description box below and download the Essential Music Theory cheat sheet. Now, here's really the crux of this video. I want to give you 3 exercises, or really 3 techniques to really improve your tapping. So the first one, the one that I've been doing for the majority of this video so far, has been an ascending pattern of 3s. So low, higher, highest. And I'm keeping that group of 3 in this sort of sawtooth upward motion. So the group of 3 is always ascending from the lowest note to the highest note. That's step 1 or technique 1. Now, step 2 would actually be do that in reverse. Go from high to low. And at first, this probably feels a little bit strange because so often when we learn a tapping lick, it's usually this ascending method, but it's a really good idea to learn a descending one as well. The challenge here is getting this pinky back into an area where it's hitting that note in a very consistent part of the rhythm. Sometimes if I speed this up, I'll notice my pinky also going down along with my first finger. That's actually okay as long as it doesn't beat your first finger. If it doesn't get to that note quicker than your first finger, that should be okay. This sounds a little bit more like a sequencer or a keyboard when you kind of put it that way. Now, what if we combine the two? So instead of just going up all the way or going down the entire time, let's actually combine them. So let's ascend and then descend. And the thing that you'll notice about this is actually it's a pattern of 4. So where the other 2 patterns were 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and descending 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one's a pattern of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see, once you start to kind of get all 3 of these under your fingers, it actually becomes a lot faster. You want to really get the feeling and the sensation of pulling off that string with your tapping hand correctly so that the notes are even, and then working on these 3 patterns, ascending, descending, and both, to really get a good sense of the fundamentals of tapping. Now, a little bit more to the point of what I played in the intro. This is actually kind of a fun little hack. So what I'm doing in my left hand here is I'm just tracing out the pentatonic scale, the minor pentatonic, B minor pentatonic scale, with my left hand. But there's a really kind of interesting hack you can do. If you go all the way up to 14, all of these notes across the 14th fret on all of the strings are also in the B natural minor scale. So if you use that as the tapping ingredients, you get a really interesting lick that comes out of it. So the only thing I'm really focusing on in my right hand is tracing out the minor pentatonic scale, which most of us probably know really well. And then the only thing I'm focusing on in my right hand is that 14th fret, which incidentally is where the 5th lies in our arpeggio. 1, minor 3, 5. And you'll also notice that that is an ascending and descending pattern. So I hope this gives you some really fresh ideas when approaching tapping and really kind of building up a really solid foundation for this tapping hand. And then when we kind of turn our brains on and apply it into some different scenarios, you can really get creative with this. Once again, if you want to increase your creativity in music and really have a much better understanding of everything that's going on in music, download my Essential Music Theory cheat sheet in the description box below. My name is Matthew Dale. Play better, sound great, and understand more.